we have right now the Bishop for Black America, the Black Pope, Bishop, none other, for not only the United States, Mr. Mayor, but the world. You go to Africa, you go to Latin America, you go to Brazil, and everybody says the same thing. I mean, he makes traffic stop when he goes to Nigeria, where he was recently. Everybody's heart stopped when we thought his heart stopped in the first of this year when he had a medical situation. We were all praying for you, and I'm so glad that you're looking great and doing great. Literally, again, I joke, but I'm really serious. The Black Pope, the man who is a symbol for inspiration and spiritual leadership for all of us here and around the world. Bishop T.D. Jakes, who's also Chairman T.D. Jakes. He also has, separate and apart from his ministry, he's a very accomplished author. He's got many bestseller books. He's been a producer of movies and films, writing music, developing property. I mean, he just really is a great father and a great friend. And I'm honored to call you my friend, ladies and gentlemen, Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Thank you very much for your kind and warm words. I am delighted to be here on behalf of TD Jakes Group and at your request. I don't know whether you invited me because you couldn't get anybody else or what it is.
No, we just wanted you.
I'm glad you're here. Delighted to have an opportunity to address you all. America is in an interesting place right now, as we all realize. But it has been in interesting places before. It has been in times of great turmoil and tests and trials, and yet those times have proved to be times of great innovation and great creativity. And instead of focusing on the areas that give us the most concern, we have to take this opportunity to seize the opportunity for transformative thinking and work together to create a more perfect union, a more equitable society, a group of people who are working together, integrating our ideologies for the betterment of the country and for the betterment of underserved communities. I'm supposed to be leading a panel. I have the privilege of leading a panel talking about reimagining opportunity. And now is the time that we have to reimagine opportunity. It is really about transformational ideas to reshape America's economy, and we have to really be innovative and aggressive in order to get things done, because we are the people that we have been waiting on. We can't sit back any longer and wait on people to consider us. We have to consider ourselves, one, because we understand ourselves, we know what we need, two, because for too long we have had too many people making decisions about us without us. And so this is a great format, and I welcome all of you that are watching around the country and perhaps even around the world as we tackle such complex subjects. Those subjects are for us, to us, and about us. And the us is not just you and me and people who look like me, but we affect the rest of the world as well, because we are a part of one human race that we have to understand until other people understand it as well. So I'm delighted to have this opportunity.
Bishop, thank you for that. Thank you for not only your blessings, but your wisdom and your counsel that you have given me over the last few weeks as we were designing this program. Your counsel at midnight, often when you had a long day and the last person you want to talk to was me. You go, oh my God, here's John Bryan again. Thanks for answering the phone. Thanks for having grace and giving me wisdom. So in part today is because of you. The mayor wants to ask you something before you get to the panel, but as we encourage people to download these business plans, which are written in their format, they're formal, they are structured, they are things I think that people that are accessible for people. How important, my question before the mayor asks your question, how important, Bishop, is it for folks to focus on what they can do in their own life to raise their own GDP versus just waiting for the private sector or the government or I mean, I guess I believe God helps also to help those who help themselves. How important is it for you to have a business plan for your own personal life and not just wait for somebody else to give you hope for your life?
Well, thank you for the question from our illustrious mayor. Great to see you. Great to have this opportunity to converse with you, and looking forward to your contributions and thoughts as we continue to dialogue on this issue. I think it starts in the home, not in the school, not in chats, not even in conferences, but it starts in the home, where we begin to broach subjects that we don't normally talk about around the kitchen table. In fact, we don't gather around the table anymore. But that's a tragedy, because the first infusion of understanding the significance of money came when I was about 8 years old, and my mother gave me a passbook savings account to Canal Valley Bank in West Virginia as a Christmas gift. All the other kids, they got the cool toys. They were riding around in bicycles and stuff like that. But my mother gave me a passbook and put $50 in it and started me to saving and thinking differently about money. Mindsets control assets, and we can't start too early. That's why even in our own Good Soil Forum, we include an element called Lemonade Day that is focused on teaching young people how to be entrepreneurs. I think every individual has to take some responsibility for their outcome and not just be controlled by their salary. It's really up to your own entrepreneurial creativity. That's why we're emphasizing a Good Soil entrepreneurship, because it stops us from being at the mercy of layoffs, cutoffs, setbacks, uh, left behind, underpaid, under-supported, seldom recognized. You can tell me how much you're going to pay me, but you can't tell me how much I'm going to make, because I have creativity and talent. And if I have strategy against that creativity and talent, it equals success. And success means different things for different people. But to begin to think differently, your mindsets often affect your assets. And I think it's very, very important that we do not limit our mindset to just a job. That subsidize the job, while we fight for equal pay and equal rights, and the right to vote and all those other important things that need to be fought for. We still have to eat, and we still have to buy property, and we still have to have passive and aggressive streams of income. We have to begin to talk to our people about ownership and stewardship, and recognizing our responsibility to take hold of our own destiny and grip it tightly, and not be at the mercy of the whims of the times, or the administrations that come and go. They will always come and go, some leaning toward, some leaning away from us, but we have to lean in and hear the conversations that we're about to have. The mayor has been a good illustration of that. I know how committed he is to the underserved and making sure that their needs are met. And we need to have those kinds of role models, not just mentors, but role models that we can see, that climbed up the ladder and started on the same rung that we did. Because often those who had a push higher than us can advise us, but that advice does not take into consideration that you had a shovel when I had a spoon. We need to see people digging, who dug themselves out from a spoon and came to the place that they were able to do what they're going to do. So thank you for that question. I see my panel coming in, and I think I better go to work, so we can stay on schedule a little bit. I've got enough brain power on here to blow up the planet, and I'm grateful to have each and every one of them. I want to introduce them formally. We've got the Honorable Andre Dickens, who is the mayor of the city of Atlanta, maybe the president of the city of Atlanta. I don't know. We need to get another title for him, but we're grateful to have him. Brian Hooks is joining us as well. He is the chairman and CEO of Stand Together and president of the Charles Koch Foundation, who has really been leaning into these tough topics. He's not shied away from tough topics like entrepreneurship, like returning citizens from incarceration. They've leaned in and put their resources and relationships behind doing that. And we have been a recipient of them as well. So we're grateful to have you as well. Now, my longtime friend and brother from another mother, Van Jones. I love him to life, and he is the founder of Dream Machine Innovation Lab. I'm glad to have all of you, and I want all of you to welcome them as we come together in a collective synergy of intellectualism to the intent that we might be able to discuss and create innovative ideas and have a discussion that might stir something inside of you that causes you to be your best self and your better angels to come forward so that you can get things done. So let's jump right into this and see where we go. How can we leverage innovation to expand opportunities and communities historically excluded from wealth creation? And I'm going to start out with Brian. And Brian, if you give a whack at that, we're living in the most innovative time. And yet we're living in a time of great chaos. How can we use innovation to cause us to be upwardly mobile? Innovation, technology, artificial intelligence, and innovation that starts with human intelligence. I think sometimes we don't give human intelligence enough credit because we're so excited about artificial intelligence, failing to realize that all that artificial intelligence learned it from us. So give us some of that brain power, Brian.
Well, look, Bishop Jakes, it's so good to be with you. And how can I answer the question better than you just did? One of the things that I've really valued about our relationship and working with you over the past couple of years is that you start with a deep belief in people, right? And that's what we learned that we each had in common when we first met. And I think that's the answer to your question. Innovation in technology, innovation in different industries, all of that is really, really important. But the only way that we are, as a society, going to benefit from the upside of all of those new tools and new technologies that will continue to evolve is if we believe that every single person has the potential to contribute to that innovation. And so, I look at this as a time of a tremendous disruption. That's an obvious thing to say. And the downside of that disruption is very, very significant. But the upside opportunity to reimagine the institutions that people rely on to be successful and to find their path to participate in the kind of progress and innovation that you're talking about is enormous. If we take seriously the barriers right now that are holding people back, that are causing tens of millions of people to be on the sidelines, it's extraordinary. Whether that's in education, whether that's in business, whether that's in finance, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. There's a lot of things that we can do to harness innovation, but the first thing that we have to do is we got to change our mindset. We've got to stop seeing the people that are excluded, the people that are struggling as problems to be solved. And we've got to start to see them for the potential that they've got. And when you start to think that way, you don't think about how do I help people? You start to think, how do I help society by helping unlock the potential in these people who are being excluded? And when you do that, you can't help but think big. You're not talking about small, you're thinking about radical innovation to improve the institutions that people rely on to be successful. That's what we're doing together with your Good Soil Project. That's what, Van, you and I have had the good fortune to be able to work together in helping to unlock the barriers of people in the criminal justice system. Mayor, I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm headed to a new restaurant in your fine city called Cafe Momentum.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great example of this. The kids that come out of the juvenile justice system that are the interns in Cafe Momentum, these are world-class individuals.
Mm-hmm.
They need what we all need. They need people to come alongside them and believe in them so that they can believe in themselves. And when they do, there's no limit to what they can accomplish. And so I think we need to radically re-envision the institutions in our society. And this moment of disruption is an opportunity to do that. But it starts with this deep belief in all people.
Thank you for that. And what a great statement, and well stated and well said. It is so true that we need to stop seeing people as problems, underserved communities as problems, but see them as growth opportunities. For example, only about 40 to 44% of African Americans own their own home, as opposed to 75% of Caucasians own their own home. So if you're going to build homes, if you're going to loan mortgages, this is a growth opportunity, not a problem. It's a growth opportunity for expansion, and we can do good and still do well if we have the kind of mindset that you're talking about. Mayor Dickens, would you jump in on this and just kind of share some of your innovative thoughts for society as we move forward?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Bishop Jakes. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your partnership around the city of Atlanta. And good to see you, Brian, and also Van and Mayor Young, as well as brother brother Hope Bryant, John Hope Bryant. It's good to see you all. Thank you for having me on here. Listen, innovation is critical. We have to leverage innovation for all of our communities. We got to make sure that we have cities and communities that provide opportunities for all. The future is inevitable. It's coming. And we have to stay ahead of the game. And how we do that, particularly us leaders in the public sector, the civic leaders, we have to understand what the private sector is doing. We have to know what the folks that move capital, that deal with technology, that understand innovative tactics and tools, what are they using? Because we need to use those in the public sector. I am an engineer, and so when I, go out, I'm thinking about things strategically and utilizing innovation. As mayor, I created the mayor's office of innovation and technology, so that we can go out there and leverage what is in the private sector, whether that's investing in technology companies and startups, whether that's utilizing innovation in our housing development models. We're building housing more innovative through innovative means. We're using shipping containers. We're taking modular construction. We're utilizing rapid housing development capabilities to be able to provide housing for whether it's homeless individuals or low-cost housing. We're doing all of that by a lot of times we're utilizing public-private partnerships. That's something that government traditional RFP processes can be effective, but also there's a way to use innovation to help get projects done better, faster, cheaper, and with more innovation, because the private sector has a competitive edge and a desire to stay, cost efficient, and also to do things in a more creative, unique way. And so business helps drive the ideology behind some of the government work that we're doing. Brian just mentioned Cafe Momentum, which is a very good way to help people get a second chance. It is a whole restaurant with staff that are trained and that are working, that have a record. Right now, I'm drinking Water Boys in the Hood water. We're known for our water boys, guys that stand on the corner, and we help them create a business. We took them off the corner and said, you can be real entrepreneurs. You don't have to stand out here in the heat and you're only making a little bit, you're dodging traffic. Why don't we get you a product that can go inside of restaurants and stores and teach you a skill so that you can go out here and you can one day own a big water company. All right. And so we're taking, kids and folks that have desire and helping to innovate. And we're doing that through some community development entities, CDEs, in our Invest Atlanta. You can look it up, investatlanta.com, and CDFIs, which have been threatened by this public administration, federal administration, but community development financial institutions are important ways for us to be able to develop in our communities in areas that need it the most. And so being innovative is a way for us to really help with wealth creation and community stabilization.
Thank you for all the work that you have done and are doing to make us have a better society. I think sometimes we get so strung up on federal government, and it's very important, but we don't give enough attention to local government, which deals with those bread and butter issues that hit the tables of everyday Americans. And being a trailblazer in that way is very inspirational. Excited about the opportunities to work with you, and we're working through some things, trying to be able to do that more efficiently and more effectively. We're excited to do that, and really, really glad. I can't leave Van out of this conversation, or he'll text me and fuss at me about it. So, Van, what do you say in terms of innovation? And I just saw Strive Messiah will come on. My dear friend Strive Messiah, who has done so many things with EcoNet and other entities that he runs all the way from Zimbabwe, where he grew up, to being a global leader and a billionaire and an influencer. And as much money as he's made, he's got that much brilliancy. Welcome, Strive. I'm glad they put you on with me. Makes me somebody. Van, talk to me a little bit, and then if I turn Strive loose on this AI stuff, we're going to be on fire. Come on, Van.
Well, look, I'm almost embarrassed to talk now that we have Strive on here, but maybe I'll do a little alley-oop before he talks. I mean, one of the reasons that John Hope Bryant, my great friend and leader, wanted to do this today is because it is the anniversary of Dr. King's assassination, April the 4th, 1968, 57 years ago. And I think people misunderstand Dr. King. They think Dr. King was somebody who was trying to make history. Dr. King was never trying to make history. History in the past. He was trying to make tomorrow better. Dr. King was a radical Afrofuturist who had a vision of a Black future, an American future. That's what a dream is. It's about it's a future state. And he on the March on Washington freestyled as a 33-year-old kid, freestyled a radical vision of Black folk and white folk getting along and children playing together. That could have been Star Trek or Star Wars. It was so beyond what we were living with every day. And that is his great contribution, is he gave us a future. And so we spent a lot of time on Black history. At this point, I would trade in about 10 Black history months for one Black future weekend. Where are we going? What is tomorrow going to be? And so I'm very proud to have joined forces about a year and a half ago with will.i.am. We launched a campaign called Make Wakanda Real. Make Wakanda Real. Why? Because Wakanda in the Marvel superhero universe is an African nation that uses technology better than anyone else. They use vibranium, which are the minerals of that place. Frankly, Africa has real vibranium when it comes to cobalt and everything else that Elon Musk and these people need to run their gadgets. And they also honor their ancestors. They're also very spiritual, and they use technology in a heroic way. And so we try to put that forward as a vision because, as was mentioned, we do have AI now. But what does that mean? There are two different futures here. One is AI where it's all data and no wisdom, and could be used to replace human beings with robots and leave humanity behind, or it could be used to lift humanity up. And for the first time, we have three different kinds of intelligences on one planet. We have non-human biological intelligence, in other words, nature, which is very wise. And if we listen to her, we will be much better off. But so you have non-human biological intelligence, which gave rise to human biological intelligence, which is us. And now we've given rise to non-human, non-biological intelligence, in other words, AI. So you have three different kinds of intelligence that have to share one planet and possibly soon the moon and Mars. How are we going to make sure that the least of these, the people that Jesus referred to as the least of these, the addicted, the convicted, the afflicted, the evicted, the poorly depicted, how did the least of these prosper in a world where nature may be moving in a hostile direction when it comes to climate change? Humans haven't been kind to each other, and now we have AI. And so that requires vision. That requires a future state that we can all aim ourselves toward. And I think that Atlanta in particular, Mr. Mayor, has a chance to be that Wakanda, has a chance to take some of the entrepreneurs and give them these new tools of generative AI, agentic AI, point our young people toward biotech, toward quantum, toward private space flights, toward cryptocurrency, toward blockchain. There are new exponential technologies that are coming on. And the great danger for Black folks is that we can be so threat sensitive that we forget to be opportunity sensitive. We can be so concerned about the bad things that are coming. And Dr. King talked about equal protection from bad stuff. But he also talked about equal opportunity, equal access to the good stuff. And there's good stuff coming. And there are people who are broke right now who are going to be billionaires tomorrow. People who are billionaires right now are going to be broke tomorrow because of these new technologies. And the last thing I'll say is when will.i.am and I pushed this campaign, Make Wakanda Real, we faced real skepticism from people who were saying, well, 99% of Black folk, Van Jones, don't know anything about AI. And I said, you're correct. 99% of Black folk don't know anything about AI. And 99% of white folk don't either, because it's brand new. This is called equality. It's the only equality I've ever seen. We are all equally ignorant about all this new stuff. The future is not written, and we have the opportunity to write it together if we'll pick up these tools and use them. and nobody's done that more or better than Strive. So I will now be quiet.
Well, thank you for that brilliant dissertation, as it were, as we begin to understand that Dr. King is most noted for the I Have a Dream speech, but he made many other speeches dealing with economic empowerment, and he was really leading a poor people's march toward the end of his life to eradicate poverty, because if you eradicate poverty, you eradicate crime.
Yes.
You build better homes, you build stronger children, you build a better society. And I'm not saying that economics is the only part of it, but I am saying that when I've never been mugged by anybody who had to go to work in the morning. So understanding that a good job and a good opportunity makes a safer place for all people to live, and it's just better for a more equitable society. Now, Brother Strive, I do not know how to get to Wakanda. I've been all over Africa, but I have not been to Wakanda. But if Atlanta's going to be the new Wakanda, I'm going to pack up my stuff as soon as I finish doing the work I'm doing here in Dallas. What do you say about technology? And to be honest, I have been a recipient of the benefits of technology. It has many perils, but I would not be sitting here right now if it were not for technology and medicine that proved that I have no bandages, I have no cracked ribs. I had a massive heart attack. They went in through my wrist and did a complete surgery on me, and I went home with a Band-Aid on my arm because of technology. So there are some amazing things that are being done with technology. I wish and pray and hope that our laws would catch up with our innovation so that we can stop evildoers from participating in that. And one of the things that we're doing, Strive, with Good Soil Forum is bringing entrepreneurs in, not only exposing them to access to capital. We're able to give what was through the last two we've done. We've given $500 million away each year to startup companies and businesses who are trying to scale and grow their businesses. And technology plays a part in it because technology doesn't get sick. It doesn't have to take off from work. It will work the late shift and the day shift and the morning shift and all of that. And for startup companies and even mid-sized companies, it can be a great asset. I realize that takes away some jobs, but it doesn't take away jobs if the people are qualified to run the technology. They have opportunities. And to those that are not qualified, we have to offer them some alternatives. Every doctor needs a plumber. You still need somebody that can get in there and wire that house for you. Technology can now build the house, but it still takes humans to put the roof on the house. And so there are great opportunities. What does Wakanda look like to you, Strive?
No, thank you, Bishop Didi. What a wonderful, wonderful honor it is to actually see you. We were praying for you without ceasing, as the Bible says.
Thank you.
And if you ever felt like you were being lifted in your bed, that was our prayers. We love you, man. And it's also a great honor to be here to see our father, Andrew Young.
Strive, stop. Bishop,
Yes.
you know, you and I know this guy. People may not know who this guy is, Bishop. This is, and Bishop knows it. Strive Masiyiwa is the sixth richest man on the continent of Africa. He is the Bill Gates of Africa, not of a country, of the whole continent. The first man to provide cell phones to Black people, I believe, in Nigeria, or maybe anywhere in Africa. And now he's laying, Bishop, he's laying copper fiber optic lines. I mean, I think, Mayor, he's laying like, internet lines. That you'll be doing AI across the entire continent. This is a definition of big baller shot caller. You can't say it, Bishop, but I can. Strive Masiyiwa is the man. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye.
John, you're too kind. You're too kind. We give glory to God. We thank Him for all His mercies. As it's really a privilege to be part of this conversation, because it really is part of the dream that that Martin Luther King had for us. You know, he understood the nexus very quickly between civil rights and decolonization of Africa, and the importance of our global community. And this is something we've all wanted to see realized. And, you know, talking of Africa, I'm actually in Nairobi in a hotel. I just stopped over so I could do this meeting with you. And so I will have to jump off and go. But really, I just wanted to leave you with some quick reflections on Africa that you often don't hear about. We're a continent of 1.3 billion people. We are the youngest population in the world. Our GDP is $3 trillion, just over 10% of the American GDP. But it has been growing at the fastest rate outside China. We have speed bumps, we have challenges across a vast continent, but it's also home to the largest number of Black-owned businesses in the world. It is also home to the most diverse involvement of Black people in global economy. We manufacture, we produce, we run telecommunications, we do everything that the rest of the world does. We're not exotic. I'm coming from chairing the Africa AI Summit, where I announced that we've just acquired NVIDIA chips that we are rolling out and beginning to provide the compute so that Africa's young people can begin to develop their AI applications. But already we have thousands of young African people who are building tech businesses in all our major cities, Nairobi, where I am, Kigali, Lagos, Cape Town. So yes, Wakanda exists. It is here, Van. And we are building it every day. And we're a place of extraordinary hope and extraordinary faith. The largest Christian community of the world is African. In 2021, Africa became the home of the largest number of Christians in the world. It's not the United States, it's Africa. So last time I met Bishop T.D. Jakes, I was walking in the streets in Ghana, and I thought, I know him. And I ran, and I said, hey, Bishop. And the two of us ended up doing one of the most extraordinary times we have. And of course, the streets of Accra, Bishop, full of African Americans.
Yes.
Coming home and participating, and we want you to come. We want to build our community together. Yes, we have challenges, but let us not forget that we're one global community, from Africa to the United States, to the Caribbean, to Brazil. And we stand together, we will be just fine, and our Wakanda is real. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and let us keep the dream that was left to us by our fathers. Martin Luther King, Ambassador Andrew Young, Mandela. These were all contemporaries, as we are contemporaries, and we carry the torch. No matter the challenge that we are in, we have always worked in the conditions and not against the conditions. Our progress has been built. And may this be a call to a revitalization even of our faith, TDJ. It's a time for faith. We will be just fine. And I look forward to seeing you either in America or here in Africa. You're welcome. Thank you for this opportunity. God bless you all.
Thank you. We're delighted to have you. Thank you for dropping in on us. I know you've got to drop out, but a lot of people do not realize that a lot of our AI materials are now being shipped in from Africa. Kenya's kind of like the Silicon Valley of Africa in its forward and progressive move. Google is over there. More and more people are starting to wake up that the traditional images that we see of Africa are not the images that we see of you, we see of the room that you're in, we see of the people of Africa who are doing so many amazing things. And you're right, more and more African Americans are moving to Accra through the goodwill of its president, which I had the privilege of interviewing and spending some time with. And there is an open door to lock arms and to come together in a way that's been unprecedented. And we need to continue to explore that. And just because we're all Black doesn't mean we're not, that we're a monolith. We're very diverse, like any other place, both in Africa and throughout the diaspora. But that diversity does not have to limit us from having unity. And you have been one of the premier leaders in that, and I just want to honor you before you hop off and thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your willingness to participate on some of the things that we're planning to have in the future that you and I have been talking about. Once it was hard to get Strive to talk to me about anything other than the Bible. So we would talk all the time. He would talk to me about the Bible. Then I messed up one day and started talking about AI, and he just went berserk. I said, "Oh, I hit the spot right there." And so I don't want to talk to you as a bishop. I want to talk to you as an ambassador of the future, so that we can talk about God and his creativity, but also talk about that creativity being exemplified in humanity, and how do we draw from that humanity in a way that you have done and have been doing for years in building. He was John Hope was on there talking about some of the work that you've done, and I didn't get a chance to brag that I was in your office, pray for your mother, walk the grounds, was at Econet and at other places, and saw firsthand some of the work that you're doing and some of the young people that are taking the lead in the conversation. And thank you for being a trailblazer to the next generation. So we're really excited about that. I see John's jumped on. You want to say goodbye before he goes?
Yes, I want to thank you, Strive. I know you're in an airport somewhere in the world, and you did this. Our friend Michael Milken that literally was trying to do this from an airplane. Now that's rocking. Doing a video call from your airplane if he works it out. But I want to thank you, Strive, for doing this and stopping your world for this, honoring Dr. King's legacy, honoring Ambassador Andrew Young, of course, honoring Bishop Jakes, who is with Ambassador Young, two of our living icons in the world. Mayor Andre Dickens, you are a model, sir. Your friend, I was sitting here bragging with Mayor Paul Young. He was bragging on you. You two are both models for the country. What we're doing with you with child savings accounts, amazing. Every kindergarten kid, thanks to your leadership in Atlanta Public Schools, Bishop Jakes, has a Hope Child Savings Account. Statistics show that if you give a kid a child savings account in kindergarten, they're 25% more likely to go to college, Bishop. If you put money in that account, a couple $100, they're 75% more likely to graduate from college. Just that one act of connecting education with aspiration, that's just one of the many things that Mayor Dickens is doing. We're passionate, both him and I, about credit scores. We're passionate about community uplift. Atlanta really is a global model in the world. And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mayor Dickens. Thank you, Bishop, for being, you don't walk on the water, but you know where the stones are. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much. I just want to give a shout out and invite all the entrepreneurs that might be listening at us. We're having our Good Soil Forum in Dallas, Texas, June 12th through the 14th, where we're going to be talking about this in much deeper detail as we begin to prepare people for the possibilities of what could be done through entrepreneurship. I was going to get into that a little deeper, but we're running short on time of what entrepreneurship and AI can do together to move us further and further along in our debate. And we've got everybody coming from Lorenzo, who founded Fear of God, to Oprah Winfrey, coming together to share experience. We're getting ready to have the biggest transfer of wealth that we have seen in the history of America from the baby boomer generation to the next generation. But if we leave wealth without wisdom, then we're going to end up in devastation, like people who hit the lottery and 2 or 3 years later are broke. So I invite you to come and get the strategy to go along with the talent that you have. And thank you, John, for this opportunity to go this far in this conversation.
Honored. I think Mayor Young wants to say something to you, Bishop.
Bishop, I just want to say thank you, and thank you to all of the panelists, my brother Mayor in Atlanta. Good to see you. This has been an amazing conversation. Here in Memphis, innovation is, we like to say, part of our DNA, and we are constantly looking for more opportunities to elevate the people of our region. We want to take the strategies talked about today, the business plan that's been documented on paper, and we want to implement that for the people of our community to be able to elevate, such that it's a national example of how cities can come together and elevate for the people. And so, again, I just want to say thank you all for the time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to come to Memphis so we can talk a little more.
Absolutely.
Hey, Bishop, you'll be proud of this. The mayor said he's going to take the plan, download it, the business plan for Black America, download it, get it to all the churches.
Absolutely.
Get it to all the the civic leaders here, and have them start having a conversation about this. So to go from PhD to PhD 2. So he's already in operations mode, building just like you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for including the churches, because I think people underestimate the role that the church can play in moving and impacting the culture, not just in terms of voting, but in terms of having land masses, building mixed income housing, doing a lot of things, equipping people with literacy and training and that sort of thing. So thank you for not leaving the spiritual leaders out, so that we can have public-private partnerships that also include faith-based leaders to transform the way that they think, seeing as we gather more people every week on a weekly basis than any other institution. What we say to them has a lot to do with the outcomes that come in their life. So I'm going to get out of the way. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
God
I'll
bless
see you in good
all.
soil.
Have an amazing day.